calls the case. People versus Beverly Tuttle.
Namesh Ganatra, First Assistant Prosecuting Attorney for the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Joy Gaines, Senior Assistant Public Defender, representing Ms. Tuttle. Ms. Tuttle, would you please state your name for the record?
Yes, ma'am. Beverly Tuttle.
Hey, what are we doing?
Good morning, sir.
Your Honor, we are asking for an adjournment. I did reach out to Mr. Ganatra regarding a potential resolution for this case. I would also like the opportunity to address bond.
Probable cause conference, July 13th, 2023, 9 a.m. Ask to bond.
Your Honor, it's my understanding from Ms. Tuttle that this is the only matter that is holding her in custody. I did have an opportunity. Let me start with, she did indicate that she has been awarded a Section 8 housing voucher. It is her belief that the voucher will be expiring in a few days, maybe as early as next week. She did have me reach out to her case manager at the Delanis Center, who's been working with her, who was able to confirm the housing voucher, as well as that it would be expiring soon. He did not know the exact date. He did also say he needed to speak to his supervisor before he could write a letter. I have not heard back from him. I plan on following up, but this housing would be a game changer for Ms. Tuttle. It's also my understanding from Ms. Tuttle that she has been working with her primary care physician out of Packard Health, who has referred her to behavioral services to get her back involved with mental health services. So she anticipates starting that upon her release as well, which would be for medication management and potentially also therapy.
Anything from the people?
Your Honor, she failed to appear to community corrections back in May. There was a report dated May 19th. And I think that coincided with a bench warrant for failure to appear at a PCC in May of this year. I score her guidelines at 5 to 23. She has prior felony convictions for custodial interference, kidnapping, larceny in a building, uttering and publishing, forgery, misdemeanor conviction for operating while high BAC. This incident involves her being in possession of a loaded firearm, also having cocaine in her possession when she came into contact with the Ann Arbor Police Department. If the court's inclined to release her, the people's concern would be that she have some type of testing in place to ensure sobriety.
And we've already tried that and it didn't work.
May I address just a couple things? Mr. Ganatra did go through Ms. Tuttle's criminal history, which we'll acknowledge. But I do also want to say that up until fairly recently, she had 13 years of sobriety underneath her belt. This is a recent relapse. If you look at the dates of the convictions, they are much.
How did she come back into custody?
May I speak to you, Your Honor?
How did you come back into custody, Ms. Tuttle?
I had returned to Ann Arbor on the night I was arrested. I had been assaulted and had.
So she didn't turn herself in. What else do you want to say to me?
Excuse me, are you talking about original arrest or now that I'm in custody here?
I'm talking about on the bench warrant where you failed to appear for court and you failed to go to testing at community corrections.
First of all, sir, upon my original arraignment, when I was given the PR bond, I did show up at community corrections. When I went to community corrections upon my release, the form that they gave me to take to community corrections was empty. There was no indications of how I was supposed to be tested, what I was supposed to be tested for, or anything of that nature. The woman, I signed the sheet at community corrections. You can verify with them. I was there. I did show my ID. I did sign in. The woman that was at the desk sent me to 14-1. I went across the street. I went into 14-1. I talked to the two black ladies that were behind the window. I gave the one my paperwork. I was on borrowed time because I had a ride from someone else. She disappeared with my paperwork for like a half hour. And I kept asking if I could get my case number, if I could get my public defender's name. And there was no information that they could give to me. And I had to leave. All of my court paperwork was left there at 14-1. I didn't have my case number, a public defender's name, nothing. And I did make multiple attempts to try to make contact to get this information. But I did show up to community corrections as ordered with a blank piece of paper, and they said there was nothing they could do for me. Also, at my original arraignment for this case, the magistrate told me, because I explained to her, my disability is in final pending stages. And I told her I did not have the money to pay for the testing. And she told me that they should be able to work out something with me. When I went to community corrections, they told me that unless I could pay for it at the time of testing, there was nothing they could do for me.
Motion for bond reduction denied. Bond will continue.
Your Honor,
Thank you.
can I just clarify one thing, Your Honor?
Oh,
Yes.
There was a representation made about 13 years sobriety for her. Is that what I heard?
That is what Ms. Tuttle relayed.
Your Honor, there's a conviction from
Yeah.
February 2015 for operating with high BAC. The date of offense was November of 2014. That was in 14B District Court.
Yeah, I will say that
Oh, my apologies.
Ms. Gaines can only represent to the court what her client represents, and that is just one of many misrepresentations that have been made. So
My
I
apology.
will
My
take that
apology.
into,
I have
Ms. Tuttle,
multiple
Ms. Tuttle,
guys.
I've ruled. I'm done. Thank you.
I'm sorry, sir.
Court calls the case.
Sylvana Reed, Assistant Public Defender with and on behalf of Mr. Doss. Mr. Doss, could you please state your name for the record?
Jerry Doss.
Thank you. Your Honor, unfortunately, I did not have good contact information for Mr. Doss. And given the recommendation, I would like to ask if it would be possible to adjourn his sentence so that I can get in contact with him and communicate what the recommendation is.
And Your Honor, Teresa Blair on behalf of probation, I would just like to make the court aware, Mr. Doss is continuing to use drugs. He self-reported that he was continuing use of alcohol, marijuana, and crack cocaine up until May 13th. He was supposed to be going into treatment. He self-reported to me that he was kicked out of inpatient treatment at Higuera for selling his Suboxone medication. He denied doing that, however, was kicked out. He then was at the Home and New Vision Engagement Center when I completed the PSI. He was to enter Sacred Heart. He was supposed to provide me proof of entering that treatment. I did not receive that, and I was unable to be in contact with him. I later spoke with his parole agent, and his parole officer indicated to me that he was kicked out of that program or discharged due to not putting in any effort towards the treatment with that. He also tested positive for cocaine on June 5th when he reported to parole. Probation has concerns about Mr. Doss with the continued use and believes that some of these tactics with his treatment is to just keep himself out of jail.
In response to that.
None, Your Honor. Unfortunately, like I said, I was not able to reach Mr. Doss. Mr. Doss, do you have anything that you would like to state to the court?
I was moved from treatment because they didn't want me to do long treatment. They all they wanted me to do was come back to the community as Sacred Heart. I'm not what is safe leaving or something, where you just pay rent and and I told them I was trying to get to a long-term treatment, and they don't provide that. They just want to send me back to like a placement. And you just pay rent. So that was where the confusion came in. No. Yes,
I can either,
and yes, I've been struggling with the addiction as well.
given that report, I can either do one of two things. I can sentence him now. But if you wanted to talk to him, in either event, well, you can do that, or I'm gonna revoke the defendant's bond, order him to report to jail. So if you want to speak to him, that's fine. And I'll give you that opportunity. I'll adjourn his sentencing July 12th, 2023
Your Honor.
at 9 a.m. Don't interrupt me.
Oh, yes, sir.
At 9 a.m. Defendant's bond based upon the representation from probation and what he's been doing in the report in and of itself, and just looking at this. Defendant's bond at this time is revoked. Defendant to report to the Washtenaw County Jail by 6 p.m. today. To be held pending sentencing. If defendant fails to report, I'll issue a bench warrant for his arrest without bond.
Mr. Simpson. Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
can I get to in the morning so I can make arrangement with my clothes and stuff? I don't have no
No,
problem.
I think that if I give you to this morning, that just gives you more time to use. I want you at the Washtenaw County Jail by 6 p.m. today.
All right. All right, man. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Huh?